I want to thank all my friends at the Lignite Energy Council for the chance to speak with all of you today, and I want to apologize that I'm not able to be in Bismarck with all of you for the conference. I've so enjoyed kind of over the years coming to the conference and having direct conversations, but if this is the only way we can do it, then so be it. And I want to recognize Jason for his outstanding leadership of the Lignite Energy Council since taking over in 2013. He replaced a dear friend of mine, John Dwyer, who I know continues to fight for this energy industry and continues to be with you all in spirit. So President Trump and his administration have prioritized coal-fired power as an important part of America's all-of-the-above energy policy, and I couldn't agree more. The recent release of the draft American Clean Energy Rule, intended to replace the previous administration's horrible and I think misguided Clean Power Plan, is just the latest move to shore up a place in our national energy mix for coal and coal-fired power. I fought the Clean Power Plan from the beginning because I know that North Dakota was not getting a fair shake. This plan would have inflicted incredible harm on our coal generation business in North Dakota, and it would have driven up costs for consumers across the board in our state. The American Clean Energy Rule returned the power to states to determine what is best for their states when looking at reducing emissions in electrical generation. The draft rule rightly narrows the focus to inside the fence to make sure that facility-specific determinations and calculations are the ones that are applied, and most importantly looks to providing long-needed guidance on the ability to make efficiency and emission reduction upgrades without triggering additional onerous oversight through new source review, something I've been preaching for a long time since I've been here, that we can do a lot if we're not asked to do it all. And obviously, this new source review provisions are critical and a needed addition to this new rule. So I worked with my colleagues, as you know, across the aisle to repeal the stream buffer rule and the lifting of the moratorium on federal coal leasing. North Dakota saw immediate relief from these two policies that would have hurt our coal production and coal-fired power generation and would have led to higher costs for consumers. I was really disappointed when we did the tour of the stream rule. Anyone who looked at how it would be applied knew that it was irrational for our state, and so it is good to see rational policies come back into existence. So we got to look to the future. And so when it comes to the long-term future of coal-fired power, I believe technology is the answer. Now that my Future Act has passed and been signed into law, I'm hopeful that we'll have provided an environment for technological advancement in carbon capture, utilization, and storage. North Dakota is already looking at 2 separate carbon capture projects for utilities. EERC in Grand Forks continues to be at the forefront of CCUS research, and our oil and gas industry could benefit greatly from this captured carbon for use in enhanced oil recovery. Few states can match the overall benefits from advancing this technology like we can in North Dakota. And I think we can all say that one of the things we know in North Dakota when people say, can this technology work? Guess what? We were already doing it up at Dakota Gas, working with our partners in Canada as we looked at enhanced oil recovery in the Weyburn field. And so we know that this can work, and we know that there's great synergies in our state. Looking beyond the Future Act, we followed up on that success by working with the same bipartisan group, Senators Barrasso, Whitehouse, and Capito, with the Use It Act, a bill that passed unanimously out of the Environment and Public Works Committee in the Senate. And that bill would further enhance carbon capture research and funding through programs at EPA. While we work towards these technological advances, it's important that we focus on the assets that we have in place right now. That's why I continue to work with Senator Hoeven on a fix to the refined coal tax credit. Yes, Al, I will mention it, the refined coal tax credit, to provide further incentives to increase efficiencies and reduce emissions at coal-fired power plants. The administration is shifting policies in the right direction, and that direction is much more favorable to coal-fired power and coal stakeholders in North Dakota and elsewhere. But I caution you Don't just sit back and think all the hard work is done. Regulatory relief is often tied up in courts for years, and different administrations could shift the ground yet again. You have a real chance to gain long-term certainty in many areas when we can find a path forward for bipartisan legislation that can work to lock in more favorable policies for the long term. That means Congress needs to legislate. So I continue to look forward to working with all of you, this administration, this president, on these and other key challenges in the years ahead. Let's work together to provide certainty for our coal-fired power generation industry and for the lignite coal industry overall, making sure that utilities are not stuck with stranded assets, and that lignite coal remains a part of a diverse mix of energy resources. That is so important to certainty and reliability in our power grid, and we know we can do it just given enough time and enough running room. That technology, I think we're just going to prove over and over again that our innovation and our technology is where we're going to advance our ideas. And you know what the benefit is? We're going to continue to provide good paying jobs throughout our state and continue to keep energy costs low for all Americans and all North Dakotans. So I want to thank you again for the invitation to speak. I want to thank you again for the work that you do in what I call the miracle of our economy. And that miracle is every day someone wakes up, they reach for a light switch, they turn on the lights, and the lights come on. We take it for granted. We take the work that you all have done for granted in making sure that that happens. Let's work towards reliability, let's work towards redundancy, and let's work towards an all-of-the-above energy policy that leaves no great resource like coal behind. So have a wonderful day in Bismarck, and may God bless you, and may you continue to do the great work that you're doing to provide energy to this incredible economy we have in our state and in our region.